been at the Guardian for 30 years, but in my role as a diversity editor, coincided in my with the Guardian looking into its own history after George Floyd, and specifically after the falling of the Edward Colston statue in Bristol, which you've probably all heard of, and questions started to be asked about history, about Britain, modern day links with slavery and the enslavement, transatlantic slavery era. And the Guardian was founded in Manchester in 1821, and Manchester was the centre of the British cotton industry. And for a lot of British people, cotton just means fabric and things that clothes that you wear. In the US, obviously, cotton means something very different. And we just wanted to start looking into, questions were asked, and we wanted to start looking to our origins and whether there were any potential links between the Guardian's founders and transatlantic slavery. So we brought in Dr. Gupta from Hull University, and maybe if you could take it from there.
Yeah, hi everyone. So I work in the UK, but I'm from Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to be here. A lot of what is said has resonated with me personally as well, especially with the language, because in Trinidad as well, we're also taught to speak differently, that what we speak is not proper English. So right now I'm code switching because this is not how I talk. So yeah, so I'm still going to code switch, but yeah, a lot of it resonated, and I'm especially glad that Mr. Ron is here because I grew up with Gullah Island. I hear the song in my head right now. And people of my generation know a bit of Gullah Geechee words like binya binya. We know what binya binya means because of the show. So I'm glad that I could meet you today. But okay, so back to the Guardian. So basically 2 years ago, or 3 years ago in 2020, the Guardian began getting a lot of calls about their own historical past, because they have been championing Black Lives Matter movements and a lot of causes for Black Lives Matter, the protests. But they had not looked at their own links with slavery, because the owner of the Guardian, when it was formed in 1821, he was a cotton merchant. So we knew that he was a cotton merchant, but we just didn't know where he was getting the cotton from, or which plantations, whether it was the US, Trinidad, Jamaica, where it was. So what I was tasked to do, it was a normal job advertised. I applied for the job and got the job. And it was firstly 4 months of research. And then we found a lot more, and it continued for 2 years. And why we're here today, long story short, is that when I followed the money, which was basically looking at the founder of the Guardian, following his cash books, following the ship names, right? I found an invoice book that was a very small invoice book in a countryside archive in the UK. But when I opened the book, I started seeing names like Baynard, Barnwell, Seabrooks, Elliot, Bailey's. And I'm like, are these ship names? Who are these? What's going on? So when I did preliminary research, I realized that these were all enslavers, plantation owners on the Sea Islands. And so what this meant, this was a smoking gun. What this meant was that the owner of the Guardian was importing cotton from plantations on the Sea Islands, and who was picking these cotton, the enslaved people. So we were able to pinpoint the exact plantations he was getting the cotton from, which we tried to find as many names of the enslaved people, like on Spanish Wells Plantation, Buckingham Plantation, Muddy Creek Plantation. Some of them was St. Helena as well, Hilton Head, Edisto Island. So we tried to put in as much information as we could about where the cotton was coming from, but most importantly, who was picking the cotton. So research is still ongoing. So for the next 3 years, we're going to continue to do more research, and this is just the beginning. And also, I should mention that we found links with Jamaica as well, because one of the funders of the Guardian, he was an enslaver in Jamaica. So when he founded the Guardian, he was the owner of 122 enslaved people in Jamaica. And we found the plantation, we visited that village, there's a church there, we visited the pastor there. So all of these things, it's the Sea Islands, the Guardian is connected to Jamaica and Brazil. So I'll let Ebony talk about the what next step, but that's it in terms of research. You can find all the reports, it's publicly available online. Just go University of Hull website and you'll find it. But it's all there, and yeah, that's as far as the research is at this moment. And now I'll pass on to Ebony, the director.
Hold on, if I just.
Okay.
But yeah, but the once we'd got Dr. Gupta's research, the question was, what do we do with it? And we decided on two things. One was to publish it. We didn't want to hide from the truth. We wanted to let the world know. So we published a whole series editorial series called Cotton Capital, and produced a magazine, which you can see here. I've also got copies here, which I can give out, which as a series of essays by Guardian journalists and historians, including a brilliant tale by Dr. Gupta of how she actually uncovered the truth. And the second thing we decided to do was to put in place a program of restorative action, restorative justice, because we wanted to do something to make amends to the descendant communities, both here in the Sea Islands and also in Jamaica, and in the city of Manchester, which which needs to acknowledge its own connection to slavery, which most of the residents of the city don't know. But this is when we brought in Ebony, who's a kind of specialist in community engagement, social justice, and advocacy. And so if I hand over to Ebony now.
Thank you. I'm Jamaican British, so it's been amazing and privileged to be here for these last few days and just see some of the connections and experience some of the connections between myself and my background and yours here in the corridor region. So so as we've heard, there's been research, there's been an apology, there's been an editorial response, but there now needs to be action. And so we're here to launch a kind of listening exercise. We need to understand deeply the culture, the heritage, the priorities. We've heard some of them today through the presentations. We're having other meetings. But this is a 10-year program, so we have time to really build the partnerships here that we'd like to amongst the corridor. You know, the breadth of your corridor, the diversity of the corridor, we need to understand it and think about how we can add value to the work that's going on that's really important, that's already going on here. It's not about us, it's about community here, it's about descendant communities. So for models of restorative justice, transitional justice, what's really critical is truth telling. So we need to tell the truth, and we've spoken a little bit about what we've produced in terms of Cotton Capital, but there's more to be told. The truth of the enslaved people's knowledge here, and their labour and how that contributed to the growth, not just of the Guardian, but of Manchester, of the United Kingdom. We want to work across the UK, the US, Jamaica, Brazil to draw those links and those connections, because it's really important for us as diaspora peoples to understand those connections and build links. We also want to work, and as I said, to build partnerships here with the Gullah Geechee people, your organisations, your community groups, small, large, and think about how we can get behind great work that's already going on. We've got 10 years, we've committed to work here for 10 years if you'll have us. So this is just the start of that journey. Finally, I just want to really uphold and respect those that have been campaigning on restorative justice and reparative justice for decades. You know, we recognise their work and their sacrifice. We know that there's a momentum building now. It hasn't always been that way. So we want to see how we can model how an organisation like The Guardian can do the research, can apologise and can act to really help make change, the tone for those injustices of the past, by recognising systemic and structural issues now that affect descendant communities. So we hope to model how that can be done. We might make mistakes, but we're here to listen and learn and hopefully partner with you. So thank you for giving us time.
Please don't leave. We may need you.
Okay.
As we go to the next session, if you guys can sit close right here, if you can. Yeah, if you can. There may be question and answer time. So that's what we're going to do now. And of course, Ms. Victoria is going to be here. Ron, you're getting more claps than I've gotten. So don't leave, because you might can help us during the question and answer time. Because if we commissioners, if we can't answer and our executive director and staff can't, you may can aid us, because we don't know what questions are going to be coming up next. So I say that, and having said that, I put in one plug. Commissioner Phillips, tomorrow we have an engagement here. I think it's around 10 o'clock.
Yes.
At 10 o'clock tomorrow, we will have a session there dealing with the Gullah Geechee culture. And I don't have my calendar in front of me. If we can find out which room that's going to be in. And what we don't answer today, we're going to get deep into the vines tomorrow at 10 at this same conference. So on that note, if I can just hush my mouth, we're going to open it up for questions and answers. So you have any questions? We're almost out of time, but I'll look to my executive director to cue us how far we need to go and when we need to cut off. Is that all right? Okay.
We're a little bit past that point.
We're past that point. So how many minutes do you think we have so that we'll stay on schedule? Madam, how many more minutes you think we continue?
6 minutes.
Okay, 6. Wow. Okay, Sherry, I saw your hand first. Make it quick because you may have more questions. So make it very quick. You can come up real quick. And who is next after her so we can get your line? I see you. You can come up and take my seat so you can be close to the mic. We got 6 minutes. Sherry,
I
next,
don't have a
real quick.
question. I asked
Go inside of the,
Right there.
I'm sorry.
thank you.
Sherry A. Suttles, president of Gullah Geechee Group Incorporated since 2010. And I just want to present to Miss Victoria our cultural preservation activity, October 8th.
All
We're
right.
doing it in conjunction with Asala, Jimmy Harris, and of course, my good friend and longtime Vice President Griffin Watson.
Thank you.
For allowing me.
Thank you, Sherry. Thank you. Yes. Anyone after her, right quick? You got about 4 minutes left. Right here. You next. You come on up here. Come on up here just a little bit. Go ahead. You are the mic. Go ahead.
Hello, everyone that's online. My name is Marcy Washington, Dr. Marcy Washington. I'm bringing greetings from Young's Island, South Carolina. I'm a friend of yourself, so thank you guys for the space in which you're working in. So I'm very curious on if you're actually working in that space. So I want to hear that thoughts there. Also, since the time, I want to give homage and respect due to Mr. Ron Days and Natalie Days. Because of you guys, particularly as you know, my niece and nephews have a voice where we did not. So thank you. And obviously Jonathan Green. So I want to just ask you, are you working in the Young's Island, Adams Run area? And also, thank you guys for being here in this space because as you know, we're not a come ya, we is a been ya. So I'm going to turn over to my sister gal.
Want to answer a question?
So thank you so much.
Yeah,
Then
thank
you
you,
next.
thank you. To answer that question,
Yeah.
Young's Island, Adams Run area, we did partner with the city of Charleston to do a presentation there. However, we know that there is a huge footprint along the corridor that we have not stepped into. And that is one of the areas, multiple others that we've identified that we feel are priorities because we have not done much work there. So thank you for being here.
All right.
If you need anything, let me know.
Use your microphone voice and let us know who you are.
Good evening. I am Dr. Ramona LaRoche. I am a sixth generation Gullah Geechee woman from Georgetown, Charleston, South Carolina, and Harlem. Now living in South Florida where I work at the African American Research Library and Cultural Center. While here today, I got an email, someone who's doing some research and she wants to know what we're doing about reparations and what are our stance on reparations. So my question is, the position of both people here in our corridor, the states, Asala, and also now new friends from the UK. What are your thoughts and positions? And also, can we talk more about it? Because this person wants me to give them resources. And as an information scientist, I need to be able to send them information. And they're talking about surveys and so forth. And I know it's a lot to answer now, but I just want to put it on the table.
Any commissioner want to address it? If not, someone in the audience? Anyone? Reparations? If not? Okay, being that that's the last, we're going to turn it over into your hand, Ms. Victoria, to finish this out. But answer her question and then finish this session out if you don't mind.
Definitely. Thank you for that question, Dr. LaRoche. We are just starting communications with community members that are very interested in having those conversations, but we feel that those answers have to come from community. And so we need to have some more listening sessions regarding that. And public meetings like this are that type of forum. This is an abbreviated meeting because it is part of the solid conference. And we want to be respectful of the time that we are in. But definitely, I would like to be able to make sure we have contact information, but I'm gonna update my contact information with you. And you want me to close outside?
Yeah.
Wow, so on behalf of the Gullah Geechee Corridor Commission, our commissioners that are here in person and online and here with love, doing other work across the corridor, we really thank you for being here and taking the time to come and learn more about the work that we do, speaking to the betterment of America through the lens of the Gullah Geechee people and our culture. We want to thank our presenters that took the time to be here today. Thank you so very much. And ultimately to Asala for providing us a platform and a space here within this conference to be able to share. Thank you so very much to Sylvia Cyrus, the team, the volunteers. I want to personally thank our volunteer that came with us from Beaufort, South Carolina. Salma, who's a PhD candidate, and we are just so proud of you. We're so thankful for you for the work that you do for us in our communities. You've done a great job in collecting stories for your good work that you're doing within your to become Dr. Cole. Commissioner Dr. Watson stated, please join us for their presentation tomorrow. And I'm glad to see Una, and I hope to see Una soon, and we land a Gullah Geechee. Thank you.
We'll be around for a few minutes. So if you need to talk with any of us.
Boy, oh boy.